background with this. We've had meeting with Landscape Union, a couple of monthly meetings. We had a quarterly meeting with them where we discussed the Ocean Pines and what's going on, and some of the things that they gave us in their business plan. We also had a board of directors meeting where it was voted that 5-2 that we would have an open meeting such as this for all the members to be completely transparent, so all of you had a chance to talk to them. And excuse me. And so that's what we're doing today. I'd like to use one of my fellow directors. The purpose of this meeting, the purpose of this meeting is to a town hall meeting is for Landscapes Unlimited to find out what the board has previously discussed in our November 19th meeting, open board meeting, and they will give the entire board of directors and our association members the opportunity to participate in an open dialogue with them, specifically relative to the business plan they have provided. So that's the purpose of the meeting. Now with that, before we get going, we have to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Now, I've already done my opening remarks. I was supposed to do that. I'm sorry. Anyway, what we're going to do now is I'm going to introduce Scott Nisley. Scott, raise your hand there. And a lot of you know John. And our Malinowski, our golf pro. They're here to answer questions about the golf program. First of all, we're going to have Scott and John present a slide presentation for your viewing.
Maybe.
And then
Not
yet. No
I don't know if you can see it, so.
No signal. Okay. Well, then maybe we won't have.
Can y'all see back there? Yeah.
Somebody said something.
There's some 12-year-olds over in the library.
What's that again?
There's some 12-year-olds over in the library.
12-year-olds over in the library.
They
Okay.
can come fishing.
I know what you meant. Wait a minute.
Okay. Then after he's finished a presentation, we have a short presentation from this gentleman here from one of the golf clubs, and then you open the floor up to questions. We'd like to keep the questions as limited as possible. I got a nice letter from a member, Frank. How do you say your last name?
Iaconello.
Iaconello. Where are you, Frank? There you are. Thanks, Frank. And I found 12 questions in there. Now, that's a lot of questions. And Scott has graciously said that he will answer all of those questions in a letter form. But we couldn't stand up here and give each one of the 12 questions 5 minutes each, or we'd be here 2 hours. So I think the idea is to give everybody a fair chance to get up and ask 1 or 2 questions, and then have the answers done, and then sit down. So hopefully that's acceptable to everybody here. That gives all of you a chance to say something. So, are we ready? Yes, not yet.
No,
Well, I'll let Scott say a few things to you now. Okay, Scott, go ahead.
Well, good evening. For those of you who attended our presentation back in February 14th, Saturday 2015, we're starting off a lot like that presentation because we had trouble getting connected to the projector, and so it is this evening. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
If there's a time that you can't, just do this or signal me or whatever you have to do to get my attention. I want to make sure everybody can hear. So yes, we are having problems. I think the plan right now is to get a screen and projector, and until that time, I'm probably going to talk about what we're going to talk about. How about that? So there are probably 5. First of all, it's going to be difficult in any 1 hour period to cover all the strategies in detail of the business plan. And the business plan includes the membership initiative to cater to grow, and to nurture the membership and grow the number of memberships at Ocean Pines. So what we do want to do tonight is talk about some of the highlights of the program. I'm hoping some of the members that we've communicated with probably more late in the season than early in the season will recognize some of these things. I think there's an unfortunate component. I want to call it unfortunate. As we develop plans, we develop plans for the season. We don't develop plans for fiscal years. So this season's focus will cover 2 fiscal years. It'll cover the end of fiscal year 2016 and the beginning of fiscal year 2017, which takes us into early 2017, of course. So the reason it's important now is because now is when the members decide to join or not rejoin. Where members of other clubs or golfers, prospective members, who are not currently members of other clubs will decide to become a member. It's when a young family in the neighborhood may decide to, I can afford to become a member of the club, and maybe not. It's when we renew the commitment to this year. We don't renew according to a fiscal year. We renew according to a season. And so that's why this time of year is important. It's important to reach out to the former members, when I talk about former members, I'm talking about members that didn't renew from last year and 8 years ago. Now, we don't know the status of those people, but we do know that too many golf rounds, and that's basically the right way to say it, too many golf rounds leave Ocean Pines for another golf destination for one reason or another. So we know that we have more golf rounds to capture at Ocean Pines. Where are we?
Standing next to you.
I knew you were going to say that, Bob. Thank you very much.
I'm going to try something else, Scotty.
Okay.
I can. Oh, that's you.
That
like someone else on the hot screen.
That would definitely change the answer because you can dance. So some of the highlights that we're going to cover is a little bit. I want to generalize and discuss some discoveries or what we clearly understand last year from the membership and experiencing the first year at Ocean Pines. The second thing that we're going to cover has to do with here's what we've done about those things. Here's what we plan to do. And that's the part that at this time of year, generally the members that are getting anxious to renew this year, the current members, and the members who are not current members will be making that decision. That's why this time of year is important. That's why it's important for us to make sure people know what the golf opportunity and membership opportunity is at Ocean Pines. And I would say that this year, there's no question that this year, the experience last year and the beginning of this year is focused toward retaining the members that we have. You're going to see in one of the slides, maybe an hour or 2 hours, that we're going to have, that we discovered last year, that there was a single theme message every time we had generally I can generalize that most times we had a conversation, and most times we were in a meeting, and we attended many meetings of the monthly meetings of the Members Golf Council. The recurring theme was, what is our membership value? What do we get for our membership? And so that can be described in a lot of ways. When somebody asks that question, they're saying, I really don't know why I'm joining as a member. I really can't identify or might not be able to justify becoming a member next year. It could be saying, what used to be compelling us to be a member doesn't exist anymore. Like back, what are those things? But it's really that message has a lot of implications to it. And paying attention like we need to, and realizing the trend of membership decline over many, many years. Sometimes it's 20, sometimes it was 40. But we have a trend of declining membership. We'd like to turn that around, have a trend of stability and growing membership, and that's what this season and this year and this plan and these conversations are intended to do, to provide even though we haven't experienced it yet, I wish we had. I wish we were 4 months down the road and say we've experienced those things you've talked about. Well, we've only experienced very few of those things that I'm going to talk about. And the rest is a commitment and a promise, and it's a written plan, and it's part of the business plan. Speaker, I'm not holding the speaker very well. That's a bad habit I have. But I'm not chewing gum this time.
Yeah, that's right.
Huh? Okay.
Last time was chewing gum.
Yes. Why I didn't spit it out that I never, but I did that time, so I can't say never. So, what is the value to membership? Wish I had a slide to, not just to help me along, but so you could visualize some of these things. I think there's this presentation also that I'll be able to run through a little quicker as soon as it gets up on the screen. Is oh no, Bob promised any moment now.
Who did I promise?
You did, I heard you. So,
Scott, why don't you take one?
that's probably a good idea. Gosh, I was on there until I was supposed to dance or something. All right, I'll think about it. But that's what we're going to talk about tonight. I'm not cover every detail of the business plan, carry themes and commitments and things that we've done, things that actually there's at least one thing I know is going to surprise you. And it's not that Bob got the system working, it's in the plan. So, all right, who has a question? I'll dare that.
Okay, why don't you stand up to the mic, please, and tell us who you are so Scott knows how to address you, please. Anybody wants to ask a question before we start?
It's Walt Lishak. I'm on the golf council. I'm also a member here for 3 years. Just wanted to ask a question. How many members do we currently have now? And what are you going to do about that? Have you seen your plan to increase the membership, and what numbers you have in mind?
That was a question that's been discussed several times. First of all, wouldn't it be great if I just had that number of members off the top of my head? I think there are 118 golf members, and I think there are 22 golf member passes for golf cars. Okay, now that changes. That changes monthly. Well,
Or are you talking about lifetime members?
no, that would also be another membership.
About 19 life.
And doesn't include, that number doesn't include life. So the membership, when you buy an annual golf pass, that's considered a membership. It wasn't my decision, but that's what it's being considered by Ocean Pines, and so we're going to follow that.
When you is that husband and wife, just a golf member?
That is a membership. It doesn't include the number of members that represented in the membership, but just the memberships. And the other part of your question was, how many members are we going to increase it to? And actually, that's been a conversational item because our first focus is to stop the bleeding, is to set a trend of growth, even if it's modest growth. And if we're losing 20 to 40 members on average, a home run would be not to lose any members or to gain enough members so that the memberships that are at the end of next fiscal year or at the end of the season, actually is better, would represent the number of members greater than at the end of this season. So the business plan represented 10 additional to that. So here's what that means. That means if 40 resign, it could be from relocation. It could be the end of their golf membership activity in life. It could be a disdain for golf, an injury. It could be whatever it is, including those not finding the value of membership worthy. Whatever that number is, we're going to recapture that number plus, I quantified it as 10, and that didn't actually go over very well. I think that's huge. And as a basis for a growing trend on top of that, it would be the first time ever, no, not ever, I'm sure it's not ever, but the first time in a long time that the membership went like that.
Well, would you just on your side and on John's side, since you're the company that operates, the board doesn't really know the numbers, would you agree that almost every club in the United States is losing membership?
No,
It is.
it's not.
Enough magazines, a lot of them are losing membership.
Well-
There's a reason. Play, rounds.
Of course, if you were to generalize,
Okay? That's what we're doing.
okay, I didn't interpret generally to say it's a generalization that members of private clubs are dwindling. That's an accurate statement. To say that the memberships at every private club are dwindling is false. They're not at our clubs.
But in general, they are.
As an industry rule, memberships to private clubs are dwindling. Are you a private club?
Yeah. Semi-private. Now,
No.
the question is,
That's not
if
true.
that's what's causing that, do you know what's causing that?
Do I know what's causing that?
Yeah.
Actually, it started a long time ago with some tax law changes. It started a long time ago when we built a lot of great golf courses that are public daily fee access. You don't have to go to your private club to get a great golf experience. It has to do with the evolution of the family and the commitment of dad and the family.
We agree with that.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of it has to do with, in Ocean Pines, in particular, we have an older population,
That's true.
right? A lot of people in Ocean Pines don't want to devote 5 to 6 hours to play golf.
Yep.
So to the board, if that's the case in Ocean Pines, have you considered maybe a limited 9-hole membership to increase your membership?
That's a possibility. We haven't considered it.
Yeah,
It's their plan, that's true.
Okay, but who's responsible
They can make a-
for the dollars? Are they responsible for the dollars, or is the board responsible for setting the fees for the membership? Who does that?
may I answer that? We would recommend a fee and propose it to the board as part of those items that we have to recommend to the board and have approved.
Okay.
It's the only amenity that's controlled outside.
Because I just hear from a lot of people, not necessarily members of Ocean Pines, but people that live in Ocean Pines and play other places, they don't want to devote play 18 holes. And they're going outside to play 9 holes. So if we had a 9-hole membership or a league or whatever you want to call it,
That's what you're hearing. We all
you could do that. And you probably could increase a lot of membership.
Can I add?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Lynn Schneider, and I'm chairman of the Ladies Golf Association. As our golf association has dwindled in members, most of our members are 9-hole golfers. We have maybe 6 or 7 ladies who will go on after 9 holes and play 18. We are losing members because of this very reason. Ocean Pines did away with the 30 round being able to be distributed between 69-hole rounds. So that took about 10 of our members away right off the top. They just can't, a lot of them, including me, am a single widow and on very fixed income, and that's true of a lot of our members. We desperately need a 9-hole membership.
As a golf operator, we look at 2 things out of that, and actually we've heard that before, and we paid attention to that. I'd like to take this time to explain the 30 play membership, which was intended for 18-hole rounds, and then used for 9-hole rounds, and then it was backed away. And it's as simple as this, right or wrong. The rounds were to package that rate for the discounted for the 30 play rounds. The daily fee round was significantly discounted. It was significantly discounted, is my understanding.
Same as your charge.
It's
$45.
I'm sorry, say that again. And John, I might need help.
$45 for a round with the card.
Right.
$150 for 30 rounds.
Actually, I'm thinking it's 44. All right.
$2 for everybody.
Okay. I'm going to go through the reasoning, and we can talk about the numbers. to use that for a 9-hole discount is a if it's not a discount, then there is no discount. Okay, I agree with that. But if it's a discount, if we find out it's a discounted round for 30 rounds packaged in that 30 membership, which to my way of thinking, why would you even buy a membership if you can go up to the counter and pay $45 anyway? So am I confused?
Yeah, let me step in real quick. And if I remember correctly, the 30-round pass, it was never intended for 69 round. 30-round pass, it was for a way for someone who doesn't live around here full time to become a member. They could play in all the member events, and they didn't have to pay for a full membership.
I
Now,
don't know about that intention, John.
I-
I don't think we ever made that.
well, but I know when it happened. I don't. That was that prior to me when the rate was established. That was prior to me, but I know when it switched from 30 18-hole rounds to 69-hole rounds was because someone was hurt, and one of the guys in the shop said, "Yeah, we can let you do that," and then all of a sudden it just kind of went boom and exploded into that. And what happened was because it went from, I think we had, I'm not 100%, so don't quote me on this, but it might have been 12 or 13 30-round passes that were sold. To the next year it was 28. And then our other memberships went down, and I think it was 2 years that it was like that, and then it flipped back. So it wasn't always established that, it wasn't always that way. But that's what happened, and as soon as it went back, it went right back down to that somewhere between 8, 10, 12, 30-round passes.
That doesn't negate my statement. That
No, it doesn't, but I was just talking about,
doesn't have anything to do with 60 rounds. 30. Need not membership.
that's two different issues, though.
It is two different
Okay.
issues. Exactly.
Okay, and that's all. I was just wanted to jump in and say that. So.
Thank you, John.
Yes, thank you, John. And in fact, the other issue I think was whether or not you really should have to be a member to play with that group. Right?
Yes.
Is that the other? Okay. And actually, that goes with some of the conversations we've had this year regarding who runs the events, who plans the events. Are we hosting your events, or are we actually running it like a members club where we treat you to the events and you come to enjoy the club? And some of that discovery was, wow, part of our good experience at Ocean Pines is that we get to help plan the events. We like doing it.
Yeah.
That's part of our value. Well, we're trying not to negate that, but yet provide a better experience. And it's harder there's no question. It is, we've had some pushback with that, and we're very thankful that we're at least given the opportunity to try that avenue as a proving, because it's just the way it works. Until we can prove it, what good is me saying it? Or John saying it, or even committing to it. But that is part of the plan. And I think you'll see a slide in here that's going to refer to events for members instead of by members. John, I don't have an indicator here.
I think we're ready.
Right.
So you want to turn the lights on?
We can turn some of the lights out, especially the lights in the front. Please. There we go. Okay, I said there were 5 strategies that I thought were important to talk about to the board, and to embellish to the board, to point out to the board, and make sure they had a chance to answer questions too. And so that's a chance to ask questions. We budget according to the Ocean Pines fiscal year, but we think and plan seasons within 2 fiscal years. Tonight we will review strategies developed, implemented during the 2015 season. And it's basically a little bit what we learned. Here's what we think and some of why we think. Summary of membership growth strategies and the status. I mentioned that we really hadn't seen much of that yet, but we have seen some of it. Focus for retaining current members. That really answers the question for how many members are going to end up at the end of the year. It's about retaining the loyal members that we have now. A reason for retention and loyalty. Non-member revenue stability efforts, nurturing non-member revenue. When we came on board, there's a high desire to grow memberships and we can grow memberships. There's also a high desire to retain the revenue to support the place, and we can do that too. They're not exclusive, but this issue of members and why the semi-private model is the most difficult model to manage is for that reason. It's because sometimes, and we see this most prevalent, which is, I think, maybe the most difficult situation that we encountered and had to handle, and have yet to handle completely well, is the member tea times on a Monday morning when there's a reason to generate a bunch of revenue. Well, and this goes right to the heart. That example is why it's a very difficult decision. Tremendous upside. When I say tremendous, thousands, not tens of thousands, but thousands, on a Monday morning versus member play on a Monday morning. Both are very important. You can't grow membership and create members' loyalty if you're going to make people mad. However, it is a preferred tea time issue. Both entities looking for the same tea time. And so is there an avenue to address both entities and make sure both entities get what they want in this time frame? And I think we decided that there were 11 events. 2 of those events will be difficult to do. The other 8 to 9 events would be easier to do. And that for the most part, of those 9 events, we can accommodate members by a variety of methods. That's the scenario. If it's 10 and 8, it might be 10 and 8. If it's 7 and 9, it might be 7 and 9. But we have a strategy and a communication with those type of events, including a contract and a methodology to handle those. Now we're talking about, the board has a question too, and we thought we'd take this time to address that, and as why is New Cart Fleet important to Ocean Pines at this time and in this situation? Reason over or down? Enter. You got it. Okay. Throughout the season, every meeting and conversation we listened to the message of the members and heard one basic and recurring theme. Why should I return as a member? Membership value. Valentine's Day, when we had the same problem with the presentation, this actually was a question. The Q is a question by the that we were required to respond as the RFQ or RFP. And the answer that was so important, and it was presented just like this. It was on slide 30, and it was in red then as it is now. Simply put, or it's supposed to be red. Simply put, when golf becomes a commodity rather than a relationship, price emerges as the driving factor in consumer action, and loyalty is only as lasting as the next discounted offer in the marketplace. That's everywhere. Summary of, so I'll take this time just to summarize generally the summary of membership growth strategies. Now, this bullet point list is in the membership initiative. The membership initiative and the membership plan is part of the business plan. I think that plan, I don't want to misspeak here, that plan is not fully accepted and authorized, therefore it's not fully published. Did I say that right? Okay.
So
Okay.
you have a plan, but we don't know.
Pardon me?
You have a plan, but we're not.
That's correct. That's correct. And it's been November 5th was a meeting where we revised modestly components of the plan, and it was submitted, I believe, October 15th, and the budget was submitted November 1st. And the waiting process has to do with the approval process, but that doesn't mean there's not a plan. This particular slide is out of, I don't know what page it is, but it's basically go through a whole bunch of detailed explanations about here's what we're going to do, and here's why, and here's what's developed, and here's the plan, and it can be summarized in these 7 statements. Identify deficiencies. When I go back to that second slide that I showed where it talked about, actually, get there yet. Or we skipped it. Did we skip a slide?
I know you were doing.
You're a bum. Identify deficiencies. Go back one more. There it is. No, go down one. Nope. All right. It's in there. Identify deficiencies of the existing program strategies through surveys and listening to the members. So that was our whole due diligence period last year. And there is a complete plan that we've arrived at as a result of doing that due diligence. And we began some of that plan and some of those early changes to some procedures, some of the way we talk about it, and some of the way we try to promote memberships. Now, let me, that's not a very good way of saying anything. Here's the basis to it. There is a difference because we have a plan to grow memberships. But nobody else had one before this time.
What is the plan?
I'm going.
Specific.
The plan is I cannot show it to you, but I can discuss it. It's a plan to revise programs and strategies to retain existing memberships and member loyalty, and obviously try to enhance the member experience. What? No. You would allow me to put that up there? So
We can load it to the website tomorrow. I mean, it's not.
be on the website tomorrow, full plan. There may be a lack of understanding on my part. Pardon me?
It's fine. I mean, we can fix that tomorrow.
Well, it is my understanding that until it's fully approved, that it was not for public consumption. Is that correct?
Yeah, just to help Scott out for a second, with the initial plan that was given to us, okay, as part of the budget process, we developed case studies for each of the amenities, but once we put it in the board packet, delivered to the board for consideration, now it's open to public knowledge for everybody. So it's available to you. We'll just upload it to the website and you can take a look at it tomorrow. I mean, once we give it to the board, well, once we give it in the board packet, it's open to the public. But Scott probably doesn't know. He's not used to working with us on it, but we'll load it up for you.
I'll take the entire responsibility for that. If I could have distributed the plan tonight, we could have distributed the plan tonight. It's upon me to drive that concept and to make sure that I can make that available to you. And if that couldn't be made available to you, and I didn't do that, I actually am very sorry. I will email it to you if you want me to. I'll do it.
Now that you know that you could say some of these things,
I will distribute to everyone who wants to see that, and it will be made. I think the bottom line that Bob said was it will be available online and a link in the OPA website tomorrow. Is that what I heard? Okay. So we're improving the member experience by developing a culture of appreciation, planning, communicating, and managing vibrant golf events. This had to do with, it's not by the members, it is for the members. Understanding that there was an experience to be had by helping to develop the golf events themselves, whether it's the women's or men's. Recognize the member throughout the year as the basis for the club existence and as the focus for generating increased revenue. I go back to the business plan, and the thing that we said we're going to do is nurture and maintain non-member revenue and grow memberships. That has not changed. It has always been that goal. And the plan that actually we're able to enact is written. You'll have available tomorrow, every word of it. Incentivize current and new members to bring more members to the club. That's been a theme of our discussion, whether it's the Members Golf Council or we call it the Ambassador Program, is what's actually labeled in the business plan. And it has to do with your guest pass. Each membership was issued a guest pass, so there's some turmoil regarding how can I bring a friend or a resident or a guest and what's the price, and why is it more or less than the resident rate? And so we thought, well, that's a good point. Why can't they bring a guest? And why can't we tie that to an incentive that you can replenish those guest passes if it leads to a member joining the club? And at one time, that was actually the way we conceived that perceived that the pricing and some of the member benefits were actually disadvantages to joining memberships that were actually counterproductive, or there was a missing element that would not produce a compelling membership action or to join it as a member. The right people telling the right new Ocean Pines message using the right messaging at the right time. We have some print collateral that's developed. We have some. We actually have a common theme. We've accomplished a lot of conversation with the membership and representatives of the membership regarding the events and how we're going to do it. We know understands it's a trust factor, but we do have an outreach program that includes print collateral that was developed, actually finished last week. We have a print copy with us, I believe. Good. And so that's what we didn't give you what that looks like, didn't give you what time those events are scheduled on Friday nights, or that Charlie's not cooking the chicken, but something's going to replace that event. I wanted to get to this slide to answer this question. And if you actually read that, history of losing 20 to 40 members annually, overcome loss of membership from moving, loss of golf capability, less frequent play, those are the ones that you can't stop that. The ones that we're targeted in stopping and reversing and creating loyalty with are the poor perceived value membership. Compel loyalty of existing members, things must change. Okay, so what does it mean, things must change? Because
I can talk about that. Good. Okay, real quick, take one quick tiny step back in time, and so I've been here 3.5 years, 2.5 years, originally with a different company. At that point in time, the main focus was how do we get more revenue? Golf course has been struggling, lots of issues. They looked at two different components. They looked at membership and they looked at non-membership. They decided the quickest way to get the revenue up was really to try to get more non-members in the golf course. So I think, I know years ago it used to be primarily all membership, a little bit of non-member play. Last year, 2015, I think when it ended up, it was 62%, 63% outside play, 38% members. So that's a big shift in how things were going. So the former company, the target and the goal and the focus was let's get some non-member play because we're a public golf course. We have memberships, but we're not exclusively private, which actually, believe it or not, today, I get asked that question several times a month. Oh, I thought you guys were a private golf course. I've been coming here for 28 or 30 years. I didn't know I could ever play this. Like, we get that all the time. So former company did a great job because what happened, the revenue jumped way up. So that's great, and that's what we're going to try to maintain that. And I think what you're seeing now is, well, membership probably got thrown on the back burner. It was never an intentional thing to say that we don't value the membership, and I understand why people would feel that way. I think when you go outside, we get some outings and things like that. It disrupts Monday morning. We've got a couple groups that play. Walden knew. We talked about that many times. And so some of the things that we're trying to do to make sure and take care of our membership is, one, better communication. That's a big thing. You guys have all seen the weekly or bi-weekly emails that we send out. It's got everything on there. We've got a membership calendar that only our members can get to. It's going to show everything, and I think that came up late last year, probably August, I believe. It'll have any outside function we have on there at the time. We'll also, and one thing, this is an important thing for, especially like the guys on Monday or Wednesday when we have an event or an outing. They put in for the lottery. They don't get their lottery. Well, it doesn't happen on Tuesdays. We take care of the women's stuff. When the lottery request would come back, it would just say, you just didn't get your tee time. Well, and then we changed that a little bit to try to get you guys to call the golf shop. So we could tell you, sometimes we had room, sometimes we didn't have room to put people in. If there's no room for our members, then we'll try to find another golf course for you to play at, if we can. Or try to get you to go a little bit later in the afternoon. I know towards the end there's probably I think there were 2 or 3 times where we couldn't get the members on, but for the most part we can because the groups that we booked typically had 80 or 90 players. We can easily accommodate 120, 128. After that, then it gets to be a little bit too jammed up. That still leaves plenty of room for member play. And so I think that's what you start to see is a focus more on making sure that our members know everything that's happening, know what's going on, because we want you to feel valued. We don't want you just to be, oh, I can't get a tea time and not be a part of that anymore. And that's a big part of it. I think this year was tough because we lost some inside staff. So, it's never good when people leave, but we've got Tyler. He's a great guy. I've gotten nothing but great compliments about him. And most of our other staff, has stayed and retained. And we do have some new staff. And the whole function is service. And we're trying to take care of our members. We're trying to take care of everybody. We want everybody to have a great experience. When you come in, we want you to feel welcome. We're going to try to come back and do some more of these Friday happy hours. We just started in December. It was just one because I know a lot of people leave in the wintertime. And typically we've been closed in the wintertime, at least the last three winters we were closed in the wintertime to return growth. So we're just trying to find ways to get our members together and enjoy it and kind of get that club atmosphere and club aspect. And we think that's a great way, the social activities. So we do have them planned. We're in the process of planning. We'll have at least one a month. We're hoping in the summertime, and we'll see, but we're hoping to maybe do 2 a month in the summertime. It might be as simple as 2 weeks ago we had drinks and popcorn because, the grill really wasn't open, but we just wanted to get everybody together to talk. We might do something elaborate like a dinner, a luau, I'm not sure, but something. We're working on all the details of that. And that's what we're trying to get our members together because we like that social aspect. I love it. I love Ocean Pines. My kids play golf there. They love it. And, of course, your interaction with all of them has been great as well. So I think that's really where the difference is between the past and now is we're still going to maintain, and we're doing everything we can to hold on to non-member play because we have to. That's the only way that we're going to survive this. The golf business is tough. There's 22 golf courses in a 34-mile radius, and they're all fighting for the same. I'm sorry, now there's 21 golf courses because one closed a couple of weeks ago. That tells you how tough it is. 3 years ago, another one closed. So it's very tough in this area. So things are going well. Ocean Pines has done a great job developing the golf course. Brand new greens. They're the best greens on the Eastern Shore, and I believe it, but people are telling us that. We're getting it from the golfers that are coming down from New York, New Jersey. We're getting it from local people, not just the members, but our residents. We're getting it from the people that come in for the weekend from Baltimore and D.C. And the local golf pros are telling us that. And that means a lot. When a guy comes up and says to you, man, your greens are awesome. They're definitely the best I've played around here. That's pretty good. That accounts for a lot, I think. So Cheryl, I think I misspoke yesterday. It was so cold in there, I was shaking. I think I misheard you when you asked what market we were talking about as far as best greens on the Eastern Shore. I mistook it as saying what areas do you market to. So and that was I don't think we have the best greens all the way up to Canada, but we could. So anyway, and that's where our focus is at, and that's what we're trying to do. And it's really just member events and member planning. Now, Lynn, you're the ladies president this year. I don't think you're going to see anything different in how we run your events. We've always had great communication with ladies. We run them, we plan them with you. For the men, it's a little bit different because I've always felt that they were kind of treated like an outside group. And we always did the best we could with them. But this year, the only fundamental difference with all of that is that I'll be a part of the planning process. I'll be meeting with them. It's a teamwork thing and not just, here's what we want, throw a piece of paper down and walk away. Because it's tough. The reason I don't like that is when a member comes in and they ask a question, I don't know, or my staff doesn't know because we weren't a part of it. We just know, here's the time, here's the format, ask Joe if you need to. We should be able to handle all those questions, and we'll be able to do that now. So it won't be, because there's nothing worse than telling a member, I don't know. That's horrible. So, and that's what we're focusing on. And we're trying to, I think we've got the right guy in Tyler. He's doing a great job. Our staff, we're gonna continue to work with them, and I know we'll have some new hires coming up here in the springtime and for the season, and that's our focus, and that's really what we're trying to focus on. And I think you're going to notice a big difference with that. Did I get that answer?
I think you did.
I think he's doing a great job.
And Dave, where's Dave Stevens? You said yesterday you doubted our ability to do that, so I do take a little bit of, not really offense to that, but I disagree with you. I'm a PGA professional. I've been trained to do many things, not just teach golf, and don't take Dave's golf game as a testament to my ability to teach, please.
It's all his
All right, so don't blame me for that one. But I'm good at running golf tournaments.
I'm misunderstood. I never doubted you.
Okay. Well, I just want to make sure.
But I do believe, I do doubt.
Never wanted to, and so I understand that. So that was it. The intent was never to take everything over and not include any members without their input. That's never been the intent. And if that's what people think, then that's totally wrong. Because our intent was to work with you, not just do everything, but as part of a team. I'm not going to walk in and say, Ron, here's what your group association is going to do today. That was never the intent. If that's what people,
What I'm reading is these words, and that they don't have.
Bob's making some copies.
So,
So. But we'll get that. But that's the thing. We're not trying to dictate any of that. We're trying to be a part of it, do it as a team, and make it better so that they don't have to do all of it. And you guys can sit back and relax and enjoy a good event. That's really the whole gist of it right there. So, right. And then it's going to make everything better for everybody. And communication is really what it all comes about, is just communication more than anything. So when we're a part of all of that, the communication being spread out is going to go a lot easier, and everybody will know what's happening. Things will run a whole lot smoother. Now, I didn't mean to pick on you, Dave. But.
You landed though. I heard.
So we're not going to take questions yet, right?
No,
I'm doing this one. Oh, okay. Non-member revenue stability. So we touched on this a little bit. Grab a glass of water. Obviously, this is an important part. This covered a lot of the revenue that the golf course had over the past couple of years. So just to let everybody know, we're still working with package companies. We're actually getting ready to go. We're a part of Ocean City Golf Getaway, and that's the co-op marketing group for Ocean City. So the packagers, the people that actually book the golf, are parts of that, and most of the golf courses, not all, but most of the golf courses are part of it. And so every winter time, usually it starts in January, but this year they pushed it back. But for the next 8 weeks, there's golf shows, trade shows. So I'll be going to 4 or 5, and Tyler's going to go to 2 or 3. And we go there on behalf of Ocean City 1, but also Ocean Pines. When we talk to people, we try to get these people to come in to our golf course and play our golf course when they come down in the springtime and in the fall. And that's a big aspect of it. Now, last year, there was a little bit of a road bump there. And I think it was just a little bit of uncertainty about what was going to happen at the golf course. And I know some membership had it, packagers had it, because they weren't sure who was going to be there. If we booked the golf course, are they going to honor the tee times? I mean, that's a legitimate concern. That's not politics. That's just the truth. I've known most of these people for almost 13 years. Before 3.5 years here, I worked 3 years on the other side of the bridge, and I was the head golf pro at River Run for 7 years. So I've known these people, and they're almost all the exact same people for 13 years, and they know the kind of product that we give, that my staff gives, and how they treat their customers and clients. So they feel comfortable, and I feel confident that hopefully we'll have a better year, better April and May than we did last year. It wasn't awful. April was pretty bad. But, they feel confident in Ocean Pines. They know the product that we've got. We've got a great golf course. They know what their customers that played there this past year and the year before are saying about how they're treated and everything. And so we're definitely going in the right direction, and we're nurturing those relationships, and we're going to try to make everything successful. And just because we have non-member play doesn't mean we can't accommodate the members. So that's the package program, Ocean City Golf Getaway. The tee sheet management, really it's just we're trying to get everybody out there as best we can, members, non-members. And I think that yesterday, I guess what it comes down to, anytime someone wants to come and play the golf, obviously they can if we have 0 tee times available. But typically there's always some way that we can get somebody on the golf course. And it might be, an example that Scott used yesterday in our budget meeting was, guy walks out or a threesome walks out, because sometimes that happens. People just show up at a golf course without calling to see if they can play. Sometimes we can accommodate them, and sometimes we can't. Sometimes we can put them in line and they go out 20 minutes later. If they want to play 9 holes, sometimes we can just shoot them off the back 9. Or if they want to play 18 and we don't have a tee time for them right there, we have in the past, and I've done it with a few members, but we have in the past, maybe we take them out to 5 or 6 and start them there ahead of people, and then they play around and play 18 and come back in after. Obviously, we're not going to do that in front of a group to try to slow people down, But there are pockets, generally speaking, at specific times of the day, so we try to accommodate as many people as we can. Now, it doesn't mean that we can accommodate everybody because we can't always do that, but we're certainly trying to do all that we can to accommodate anybody, whether it's a member, especially a member, but member, resident of Ocean Pines, and anyone coming down. If we can get them out, we're going to do all we can, and that's really what that statement is right there. So maintain and grow event business. So this past year was a neat one for me as a golf professional at Ocean Pines, because 2 years ago we didn't have anybody that wanted to play our golf course aside from members. I mean, you remember that we were a little construction and things like that. Even afterwards, people were a little bit leery about coming out there. Well, the word's out; it's a great golf course. Now we're starting to get phone calls for events. Now, it doesn't mean there's not going to be room for member play, but last year we did pick up 7 events that we didn't have the prior year. And now we're starting to get other phone calls. Now, we're not booking them all because some of their expectations are very unrealistic as far as what we're able to do. But people are interested, and we're trying to do what we can to help that, because that's another avenue of revenue growth for us. While we're still going to have the tiered pricing. I don't know, in fact, just most of you are members here. So we do have tiered pricing. Usually it's before 11 o'clock, from 11 to 2 or 3, and then after 3 o'clock. So it's just tiered pricing. We're going to keep that up because we found that that's very effective rather than just charging the same price all the time every day. Collect golfer data. We just use that for marketing. So when people come in, non-members, actually because we already have your data as members, but we collect their name and hopefully at least their email address. We can't typically get everything because it might take 10 minutes to check somebody in if we do that. But we try to get the contact information after they play. I think some of you have gotten it because I know Walt got one because I saw it. We get surveys that go back and ask people how they play. So that's for everybody. It's not. It is one survey that goes out whether you're a member or non-member. But I think that's okay because we have some metrics to measure against. So, but that's going out, and that helps us increase everybody's pleasure of the golf course. We want to know if something's going wrong. I mean, we want to hear when things are going right too. But we want to have a chance and opportunity to fix any problems there. This one I'm a little bit naive at, but we've hired a marketing person to take that, and that's social media. She takes care of that. So that's Facebook, Twitter. Oh, by the way, Facebook, if any of you guys have Facebook, you guys, we want you to join us and like us on there, because in about a week we're going to put on there, we're going to take a picture of the hamburger, we're going to rename the turn burger. So we're going to have a little contest to name the burger. So like us on Facebook, because that's where it's going through. And I think this past year was tough. So I'm going to step back for a second, Scott. This year was tough as a golf professional. A year ago, I had no idea where I was going to be, where my staff was going to be, where my family was going to be doing. We didn't know what company was going to be managing it. There were 4 in the hunt, I think, and then it was down to 3. And Landscapes got the bid. After that, who knew what was going to happen? Fortunately for me and my family, I was hired to remain here at Ocean Pines. Within 5 weeks or 6 weeks, the staff left for different reasons. Zach's out in Dallas, and Scott's got his fishing business, and there were a few other things. So it was a tough summer. Walking in at 6 o'clock, staying until 9 o'clock at night, and thank God my kids like golf. Otherwise, I don't think I would have seen them this summer. But it was very rewarding, and seeing the attitudes, I think, of a lot of our members, uncertain from a year ago, to start seeing. Now, I'm not saying everything was great, because I don't think it was by any stretch, whether it was bathrooms or tee times, or I didn't get a phone call about the lottery. I know things weren't great, but we worked hard. We tried to find our deficiencies. We hired new staff, and I think we're headed in the right direction. And one of the things that I'm most proud of, it doesn't quite hit non-member revenue stability, but is our junior program. We have a very good junior program. When I first got here, we had a junior program that consisted of 17 people, 17 kids. Last year, we ran 123 through. And that's awesome. And that's great to see that Ocean Pines and the community and the kids are starting to get through that. So as a golf professional, that's like the most rewarding thing you can see right there. Have the kids come out with their parents, hitting range balls. They don't all play because, some of the kids are this big, but they might go out and play a hole or two with mom or dad. But it's neat to start to see the younger kids get involved with all of that. And I know, most of the members, most of you during our junior golf tournaments, you've all helped out. And that's great because we couldn't do it without all. It's great for me. It's great for Tyler to deal with everything. But the membership support, that's been great. And then I guess I mean, there are no excuses. Billy Casper, Golf Management's no longer here. Landscapes Unlimited is here. The point of uncertainty or anything else, that's gone. We're moving forward, and this is what we're trying to take care of. We got through the season. There were some things that were set a year and a half ago, and all that's done now. So anything going forward is all definitely on us. But service training, all of our and Landscapes has a specific fish kind of appropriate for Ocean City. But just a specific service training where all the employees will end up going through that. And I think we already have some good employees, but it's always helpful to remind everybody what we're there for. We're there to make your day. We're there to make you have a good day. And that's what we're trying to do. And the bottom, Hooked on OC and Endless Golf, those are just two areas that are very local, but they have a little bit of a further reach there. Hooked on OC is great. Scott's the host. We've been on there, been fishing with him, and we've seen got a lot of feedback from people that come in the summertime, come out and play our golf course. They see the commercial and they come out and they check it out. And Endless Golf with Bobby Vermillion has been a great one. And I told the board this yesterday. On Friday, it happens occasionally. A lot of times guys will come into the golf shop in the summertime like, oh, hey, I saw you playing. Because we played 2 holes, we talk about the golf course, we talk about the facilities and what we have to offer. Well, Friday, I got a phone call from a woman that lives in Pittsburgh. She said, I hadn't played the golf course in 6 years. She said, we quit coming because it was in awful shape. It was just horrible. So we quit coming. We come in Ocean City every single year, but we quit coming to Ocean Pines. She said, I just got done watching Endless Golf, and your golf pro and Bobby Vermillion were playing golf, and the course looks awesome. We're going to come check it out. So she booked 13 of her friends to come out and play in October. And that's pretty neat. And that's neat to see that marketing works. And and we don't always get all that. I mean, I know sometimes they call packagers, but they called us directly off of that. So it's neat to see that things are starting to change. Here's someone we lost 6 years ago. Now she and 13 friends are coming to play golf with us in a few months. So. All right, Scott, what else you got? Am I still talking, or is that?
That's a good one. Actually, wanted to finish the theme with the golf cart fleet. Not every amenity and not every component of Ocean Pines is a strong element. And the golf course is a strong element, not only in its design and its conditions and especially its greens, and its commitment and service. And then there are other components. There are components like the locker rooms and the grill room and the upstairs and some of those other areas. And then there's the cart fleet. And it's sort of it's sort of the front of the house things that all the golfers see. If you had a strong clubhouse and a strong golf course, your golf cart fleet, it could get a little weak. That's not the goal, especially when you have price points that are where we are. As they go through the season, they get pretty high and they get really modest, down to $25 over the winter with them. So, and then there's the cost effect. Gosh, these golf cars are really expensive. I mean, it's a tremendous commitment to buy a fleet of 75 golf cars. And so there's a real analysis that needs to take place. How can we, what's the best value? How can we generate the revenue? How can we satisfy the members and the golfers? How can we spend the least money doing it? And then there's some technology and safety and just common sense issues too. The real challenge isn't always in performance and will it make 18 holes? It's really about, does it creak that loud? Want to go around every corner, or do the brakes really work, or why did it lock up this time? Are the seats ripped, or those kinds of things? So there's a cosmetic thing which is very expensive to fix. The mechanical things are very expensive to fix. The component that gets your cart through this coming season is a battery. So about 3 years ago, the batteries were, and this is a generalization because I don't know exactly what month, but about 3 years ago, the golf cart fleet batteries were replaced entirely new. It is a fleet that's completed 6 seasons, 2009 model year golf cars, and at least 65 of those cars have completed 6 seasons with 2 different battery fleets. So the question, and so if you get a theme on there, in the industry, this type battery lasts about 3 years in this region of the country. It doesn't last that long in the South. But in this part of the country, with this many rounds and this much usage and this much daily fee and this climate, the heat and cold and all that, it is about a 3-year life. Now, some companies get longer. And we've had reports that, a gas cart, when somebody says, what's the battery life of your gas cart? Well, that could be 7 years, just like a golf cart or your car, or your truck, or anything like that. But in an electric fleet, it is really an uncommon thing to do to get longer than that if you have old technology. The modern golf cars are they have new technology. They take care of the battery, and they also, the biggest component is it offers a heavy-duty deep cycle battery that's made to last the life of financing a golf cart fleet for the operators. That's what we demanded. It was a very frustrating thing to get 3 years through your golf car fleet, through your golf cart lease to purchase. Basically, I don't want to confuse. There's a lease to own, and there's just a buyout. I'm talking about buying it, but financing it to buy it, not lease like you do sometimes to your car. So we own the fleet at the end of the term. But it takes us 4 years to pay for the fleet, and we only get 4 years of battery life. That was a big problem. And it used to be better than that before the golf car industry and all their wisdom went to 4 12-volt batteries in a golf car fleet. And they all did it. And they all failed, and none of them used that again. They all use 6 batteries that are 8 volts apiece. And then there's some of the computer technology and the way the golf cart is monitored and controlled, and the speed reduction and the motor brakes and all those things. So even putting a new battery in an old technology doesn't get you the long 4-year life. It's both of them, but it gets better. So the question that the board wanted to know, and it's very important, we proposed a new golf car fleet. And we proposed 75 new golf cars. It is a tremendous commitment from the board that they do this. And what we gave them yesterday, which I actually revised and I have with me, for them to really consider this and have real numbers and do it over a 4-year lifespan for the batteries, is analysis of why we're recommending a new golf car fleet. Some of it is to meet the standards so that we don't have a weak golf car fleet component. You replace batteries in this fleet for 3 years, which makes them 9 years old. That's really hard to maintain a golf car fleet, both cosmetically and mechanically. And so we propose that. And it's not that we can't operate with a golf car fleet, the old fleet this year. That's absolutely a possibility. But in the end, over a long period of time, it actually is almost the equivalent as if you turn the fleet over now. So that's all for them to consider, and I want to make sure they get those revised numbers. I think I covered everything in that slide. Some of those have real numbers, and that's some of the numbers that they're seeing. Questions? Yes, Bill.
I have a few. Put the lights up and go over. And
Sure.
Go around the room.
We did want to make sure we heard from the 2 board members. Yeah, we also want to have Jim come up and give us something that I promised him that he would have before we had questions.
Try to be as you.
Go.
Scott.
No. Don't take it the wrong way.
No.
Good evening. I'm Jim Beisler. I live at 186 Ocean Parkway. I'm going to read some comments by Kevin Hughes, who's the president of the Men's Golf Association. He's not in town, and he asked me to do this. Gentlemen, I'm unable, to the Ocean Pines Board of Directors and Bob Thompson. Gentlemen, I am unable to attend today's meeting, but would like to have my comments. We, the men's membership team, have been working with John and Scott from Landscapes Unlimited to come to agreements on member activities. Landscape Unlimited will manage the OPMGA tournament scheduled for this year. It's our hope that Landscapes Unlimited will be able to market these events to bring more golfing residents to the course and participate in these events. LU has also been working with us on bringing back the social activities we have been missing the last couple of years. John has also been very cooperative this off-season by keeping the Turn Grill open for members and guests. He also kept the grill open on Sundays for football. I believe we have begun to work very well together. We want to continue assisting LU in becoming a success at Ocean Pines. It is our hope that you, as the OPA, will provide LU with all the necessary tools to keep the course going in the right direction. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and we all need to work together to make this happen. Now, this is a position that our president has been taking. It also reflects the opinions, I believe, of the majority of the members. The point being is that we are supporting the efforts of LU. We want them to succeed. We're not here to criticize and make a lot of problems, but we also don't want anything to come between the kind of life and enjoyment we've been having at Ocean Pines. The men's group and the ladies group have run their own events for the past several years, and what we're planning on doing at their request is passing this buck to them. We will see how well that works, and we are certainly hopeful that we are doing the right thing and that they are going to enjoy it, be able to do what we feel we need. Okay. And by the way, John, you'll be able to recognize those 14 ladies next October by the Steeler bags.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Jim. And we really appreciate encouragement. We know that you have a personal risk in trusting us because it's not very well proven yet. John, were you going to mention, I'd like to mention at this time, whatever you're going to say about those documents that were just printed?
Yeah, Bob?
Thanks to Bob Thompson. He ran off 30 copies of our membership plan, so I know it's not, we have slightly more than 30 people here. Maybe if a husband and wife could just take one.
We have 36. Husband, wife, chair.
But we've got these. We have a couple of brochures, just some new marketing stuff that we had going out, just some examples of things that we got that are going out there. But I'm going to just leave these on the table rather than pass them out. So at the end, maybe at the end when we're done, you guys can come up and grab one if you'd like to take a look at it and read it. And we'll also make sure we'll send it to Bob to put on the website, and then I'll have it on our website as well.
The member side.
On the member side. But Bob's going to put it on the Ocean Pines website.
Okay, before we go to the audience, I want to ask a comment. Bill.
This meeting kind of came out of a lot of stuff going on about a executive council type meeting that we had with you guys, contractual in November. I thought it was a very positive meeting. A lot of things we went over your business plan, had a lot of discussion. I thought it was very informative. Your president called me about 2 weeks later, expressed he said it was very informative, professional, and he was excited. Seemed like everybody was on the same page to make you guys successful. Did you both get that feeling, impression after that meeting?
We absolutely feel that you want us to be successful.
Okay, because there's been a lot of stuff thrown around. It was antagonistic. We were there to fire you and all that kind of stuff. So just to allay fears and, put people that don't know what they're talking about. It was a very professional meeting, and on both sides, everybody was there for the same purpose. Just wanted to get that right. Correct? You agree? Okay, thanks. And during that meeting, we pretty much made it clear that your liaison from Ocean Pines is Bob Thompson. Correct? No question about that.
Absolutely.
Okay, it wasn't a board member. It was Mr. Thompson.
Absolutely.
Correct. All right. Thank you. Can you explain to John? Started to go into it a little bit, but one thing that really scared me, I brought it up in both meetings, is this concept of double booking. As I expressed yesterday, my fear with double booking, because when I first brought it up in that meeting, you said, well, it's kind of like the airlines type thing, and that scares me. And like I expressed to you yesterday, double booking says to me, if two groups are given the same time and they show up at the same time, and one is a member group and the other one is a paying group, I'm afraid you're going to do like the airlines, tell the member group, take a hike because we're taking the cash. That's what I see is, and that's, allay my fears and other people's fears as double booking.
I'll bet you for that, Mike.
Yeah, we're not double booking tee time. So if you've got an 8 o'clock tee time, you've got an 8 o'clock tee time. Really, I think the gist behind that whole statement was just we're going to do whatever we can to try to get everyone out on the golf course when we can. And if you've got a tee time and someone shows up, and we're not selling 2 8 o'clock tee times or 10 o'clock or whenever it is. So I understand the fear, but we're not doing it. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, it was more of a strategy of, if you tell me you want to spend your money at Ocean Pines and experience Ocean Pines today, we're going to make sure you get that opportunity. And so how we fit that in doesn't mean their name gets written on the tee sheet, but we're going to make sure we can get them out there and try to accommodate their time on the golf course. And it's a thinking more than an actual 2 names on a tee sheet. But good question, because I'd be afraid of that too.
TC was wide open today. I didn't see anybody out there.
Orange balls have some.
Okay, yesterday, in your business plan there, you talk about losing the assistant superintendent and, bringing up a guy that was just on the crew, which was good for your business because he was lesser paid and all that. This whole savings and maintenance has scared several of us from the beginning. We said the problem here is if you're not generating revenues, you're going to cut maintenance and cut maintenance and cut maintenance to make up for that, and there goes the condition of our course. I have the maintenance for going way back when, 2005, we were at 810,000. 2007, we were at 865,000. 2010, 804. Last year, budgeted was 749. So we were already dropping there, 60, 70,000. And then this year, you budgeted down another 70,000, cutting another 70,000 in maintenance down to 679. This whole, cutting maintenance thing is starting to scare me again, as I was afraid from the beginning. And, I've had the worry that your plan was to one day get rid of our superintendent, who I believe is personally responsible for the conditions of this course. After your presentation yesterday, and I brought this up, and your emotional response, now I am very concerned that is your ultimate goal, is to get rid of the superintendent and bring in somebody else just to cut the maintenance budget, which I can tell you personally, if that happens, you can scratch $2,600 from your business plan for next year, because I will no longer be a member until that's gone. That being said, if something happens to him, and this gentleman, does he have any, his assistant, does he have any formal training, or if, the superintendent does leave, or he's sick and missing for any period of time, it's good for your business that you have somebody that, but does he have any formal education type thing that we can leave this in his hands? Or the problem is, in your contract, if the superintendent leaves and you're here for 2 more years in your contract, you hire somebody, we cannot hire them, anybody that wasn't here from day one. So if you bring in a superintendent, you can only say to them, well, we only have another year on our contract, and then they're not able to hire you after that. I'm just afraid that we're going to be left with, somebody that can't do our duty, the proper duty to our course.
When I hear about the concerns, as I did from the very beginning on Valentine's Day, about the conditions of the golf course and where you've been and how good it was in the 2014 season, and we've had comments and reports about how good it was in 2015. You covered a lot of ground, Bill, and I appreciate that, and I definitely understand the concern. The golf course that you used to have that failed and was in miserable condition was very expensive to maintain, even to get it in that miserable condition. And you wasted money. Okay. Spent too much money, wasted. There was and whenever we talk about budgeting versus actual, I think there's a conundrum there. For instance, and no, I don't know the exact numbers, but we did budget $7,700 under what we actually projected to spend at the end of this year. And since I said that, I thought that's not true. I found out that we actually have a different plan for February and March, and I'm going to have to back off on that a little bit. But the point is that you were budgeting way too much money, and it was not being spent over the past 2 and 3 years. 3 years, I'm going to imagine that's true. 2 years, I know it's true. So we are we're establishing a lower budget number, but we're not expecting to establish a lower actual expenditure number. Part of the reason that it's lower is because we took I actually don't know what Jason was making. 45? Okay, it's a payroll issue. And when Jason, who was going to be here for 3 years, was here for 3 years, and an opportunity opened up after being here for 3 years, the plan was to move him on. An opportunity opened up, and he moved on. That was the plan. That is the plan for most every assistant golf professional and assistant golf course superintendent. They get to be a superintendent. As long as Rusty's here, that person doesn't get to be an assistant superintendent. Now, the business has changed a little bit. There are lifetime assistant superintendents. There are lifetime assistant golf professionals. And I made a comment in the budget. I let Rusty decide what he wanted to do, whether or not he wanted to hire an assistant or hire from within the crew. He decided to hire within the crew. I said, okay, Rusty, I actually like that plan. But on the basis of that plan, tell me about this person. How long has he been here? Is he going to leave in 2 years? And the answer was no. He's a resident here. He doesn't want to go anyplace. So whatever he learns about this site, about number 5 fairway, that right sprinkler head that doesn't always stay on or go off, he knows that. He's known it for 20 years because he's been here for 20 years. So that person can take care of the golf course in a time when Rusty isn't here. Now, it can't be a season. Rusty would have to be replaced with a superintendent qualified to do that. For that, we would look to assistants at other facilities who are ready to become superintendents, or we look for superintendents at other facilities who don't have as good a job as what this job is at Ocean Pines, and we promote them as the person to come and learn the golf course at Ocean Pines. There's another option. There are some assistants and there are some superintendents in this area that know this area better. In fact, they even know this golf course better than anybody else from outside this area. We try to resource those people and see if they're interested also. I have no intentions of getting rid of Rusty. Why would I do that? This golf course is good for 2 reasons. It can be good. It can be good. And that's because the board spent the money rebuilding the greens and rebuilding the remodeling and doing the things that make it possible to be good. Before it wasn't possible to be good. Didn't stop you from spending any money, but it was impossible to make great. So you created a golf course that's possible to make good. Rusty has applied things that weren't being used, that were available to be used in years past. You bought it for the superintendent and he didn't use them. Now he's using those tools and he's doing the things that he needs to do to promote good quality turf and enhance the soil in this golf course. I consider him an expert. I consider nobody knows more about this facility. Why would I cut my nose off in spite of my face? But if you look at this face often enough, it can't be improved no matter what we do. So it's only a commitment. I can't guarantee if Rusty leaves, it's probably for a better job or a family situation. But we don't intend to do that. But intend means it's not in the future. There's no compelling reason to do it. If he deserves to be fired, I'll fire him. And I'll fire him the day I discover that. That's the way it is in the golf business. But it better be a good reason. And it would better be a very good reason that you would say, oh, well, I get it. You would never know because it's an HR issue. But that's not, and that's a bold talk. But there are some black and white things. Rusty's been a great team player. Rusty doesn't say much. And sometimes I have to really ask more questions than I do of another superintendent, so make sure I understand what he's saying. But my biggest goal is to get on the same page. Rusty's not getting fired. He's difficult to replace. Rusty decided that he was going to save the money in an assistant superintendent when it does not move on, with a goal to move on, so that you don't end up spending a bunch of money training somebody else's employee. That's a real consideration. He's a lifer here. And if Rusty says he trusts him, I'm going to agree with him until he shows me he doesn't. Shouldn't trust him. Regarding cutting maintenance, I just want to go back to that. I'm just going to say this, and this isn't an argument. I'm going to give you this scenario. If somebody has $800,000 to spend, they're going to spend it. Doesn't mean they're going to get a better product. It means they're going to spend it because they're going to spend it. Because what if I need it? This is easier to spend it. This really doesn't require my management, my ingenuity. This doesn't require extending my crew to get done what I know needs to get done. That's the golf business today, and that's what we're known for. That's what we do for our own personal lives. It's how we operate our own golf courses. And it's hard for us not to stretch that here. But we didn't do it in 2015 season because Rusty did whatever he wanted to do. Period. That's not what he's going to do in 2016. We're going to take a different track with the crabgrass and the goosegrass and the lack of grass on the fairway number 8. We're going to take a different tack to make sure that the fairway sprinklers that are sunken, some of it's 20, I think I counted at least 23 on one hole, and it might be a difference in how many are out there because I'm thinking areas that hold water like this, and somebody else is thinking areas that hold water that's 10 feet around. But there are areas like that cause ruts this year that would make the golf course better. So, getting on the same page, Rusty is definitely a reason that the golf course is in good condition. You can have a great golf course that can be in good condition. You can spend all kinds of money and not have a guy expert enough to spend that money and end up with a lousy golf course. But if you have a good golf course that can be in good condition and a good golf course superintendent with the right amount of supplies and energy and focus and determination, it can make you a great golf course. Any one of those out of whack is almost impossible for at least 10 years. It means it can be when it can be good, and when it can't be very good, then it's not very good. Well, this year, there were some periods that there were reasons for it not to be very good, and it was still pretty darn good. I think I beat that up enough. We're not firing Rusty. Rusty! You're safe. Is that enough? Okay. And it's not contentious. And I know that that's an issue that's concerning. If we need to overspend the budget by $10,000 next year because we need a better golf course, because I know that's what we'll do, I guarantee I'll fight for doing it. We'll probably try to take it out of another department because that's what management is. Otherwise, everybody could write a plan and everybody could disappear and you can operate the plan. It's managing the plan that makes you a great manager.
Okay, sir, do you have a question?
Yes, I do.
My name is Bill. On that one, whatever you want.
I can probably hear me. My name is Bill Hickey. I've been a member here for 12 years that I lived here in Ocean Pines. You had mentioned in your presentation early on, and I just want to have you comment on that with a little more detail. The members have always been very cognizant of the fact that your spring and the fall season and try to work around the outside play. This past year, probably June and July, every other Monday, there was a group that took over the golf course. And every Monday, every other Monday, twice a month at least, the members could not play on that particular Monday. You had mentioned that you had alternate plans of how you were going to approach this coming season, and I'd like to hear what they may be. You know who I'm referring to, John? Yeah.
Good John.
Yeah, I think, and that's, Bill, that's what I alluded to earlier, and Walt had brought that up. The biggest thing more than anything is going to be communication. I'm not going to tell you we're not going to book events on Mondays, whether it's that group or any group. But the biggest thing is if we do book something on a Monday, can our members play? How many members can play? And what can we do for the ones that can't play? And that's on us to make sure it's posted on the calendar, let everyone know what it is, how many people they're going to have, and then try to find something for other people if we can. One good thing is when we do have events, kind of the golf pros have an agreement in the area that we try to help each other out with our members that can't play because we have an event. So that is an option that we have, and that's something that we'll try to do. Last year, the biggest issue wasn't the fact that we had a group that played on Monday. It was that we didn't actually know how many people they were going to have until Wednesday, Thursday before. So that left whether or not people were going to have a chance to play down to 4 days, and they kind of made other plans or didn't make plans. So, and that's one of the things that we're working to change. We're going to know at least a week ahead of time how many people they're going to have or expect to have, so that we can get our members booked in to play with them, or if we need to try to find another place for them.
Do you expect that group to be similar activity as it was last year?
Maybe. I mean, they've inquired, but other groups have inquired too. So it's not. That's what I'm saying. It's not just one specific group, but it's any group. But what I'm telling you is, I promise we're going to have better communication to be able to get you on, or maybe we try to get you to a different day or something like that. But I'm not going to say it's every Monday. I'm not going to say it's on Wednesdays. But when we have events, we'll make sure everyone knows them. And I know that was a problem last year. That was the biggest thing. That was the biggest thing, was just people just didn't know about it.
Well, I think we knew about it. We knew about it when we tried to get a tee time a week in advance.
That's what I'm talking about. You'll know months ahead of time. I mean, not just a week ahead of time. You'll know when we book an event. If I book an event tomorrow, we're going to put it on the member side calendar. So you'll know tomorrow if there's something on June 8th or whatever date it is. That's the kind. What's that? It'll include an estimated number. But then as we get closer, then we'll refine that number so that we know how many people we can or can't put out there. Does that answer your question?
I think that clarifies the fact that it won't be 8 days before we're trying to get a tee time going out there.
Right.
That it's booked solid.
Right.
You'll know a month in advance that Monday, the following Monday.
Right. Yeah. And that's better communication. Like I said, we've got it. It took a little longer with a transition from one website to another and some communication tools, but we are doing that, and you will know about it.
There's a gentleman behind you that had his hand up before. Yes, sir.
Bob Reeve Schneider. I've been a member here for 20 some odd years now. On this golf cart thing, I think we've lost some members, or I know a couple people who won't join here because of cleanliness. We used to have a guy before Casper that took care of golf carts, repaired them, cleaned them every day. That has ceased. Bathroom, we used to have a person clean bathrooms. I don't know who does it now. It's improved since we had kind of a disaster earlier in the year. But if you want to attract new people, and I know where you're going, trying to attract people to stop it once a week, twice a week, you got to give them a clean facility. And that's a lot of part. Golf course, great. Condition has been great. Inside, could get a lot better.
Well, in light of a new building that you guys would give us, one of the things in the wintertime, some of it's cleanliness and some of it you can scrub, and it still looks dirty. So this wintertime, Public Works, they're starting in the golf shop, painting, putting new fresh coat of paint on, like in the golf shop in the hallway. We're working our way towards the turn grill, doing some work in the bathrooms and things like that. Because like I said, when we would go in there and scrub, and you wouldn't even know we scrubbed when we got done scrubbing. So that's definitely a high priority, and we're working on that through the wintertime. And I know you were just there yesterday, but it's already changed in the golf shop just since you were there yesterday. So.
Yeah. Nelson Fenwick. I've been here 7 years, I think. Scott, when the first golf meeting you had, I was the first person to stand up. First thing I said was sweat the small stuff. And it still gets my shorts in a twist when I go out there and there's no sand in the sand bottle. There's no sand in the on the par threes to fill my divots. And to me, that's a lack of attention to detail, a lack of training that I think should be, John, a simple thing, oversight that somebody could say, hey, here's the checklist. Before the carts go in, you do this. People that go out to the tees, change the tee boxes on a weekly basis, they do that. So sweat the small stuff. and my shorts will get untwisted. Okay, that's number one. Number two, and this is for somebody else. And Neil left, but he had something else he had to do, but he asked me to ask. And this goes to your plan, to have to read that. He says there are several members of his who are now members over at Bay Club. There were various reasons for them to leave. A lot of people left when that really important rule on walking came into effect, but that's a different issue, not your problem. But
it is our problem.
Maybe.
It's absolutely our problem.
That they're not here now is your problem. And what he says is that there is a considerable price differential with Bay Club for membership for families. Now, I understand this is a budget issue which goes forward, etc. But I would refer you to the Laffer curve about price points and participation. So, has that been considered? That the price differential for single members is about the same across most of the clubs around here, but some of them, the price differential for family membership gets to be a chunk of change. And also, by the way, at Bay Club, your membership includes ranging. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So you hit on one of those, and I skipped over it earlier. And actually, I made a mistake yesterday in a process mistake. Let me give you an example of what that is. I sort of announced to the board something we were going to do without anybody else knowing it, which is really not doing what I should be doing. And that I skipped the process.
What was it?
It was saying AM walking for members only will begin at Ocean Pines Monday through Thursday. And here's why first of all, you said it's not our problem, but we had last Friday, 6 days ago, I was in the office when we got an email, and I get all the emails from member requests information. They wanted to know, what are your prices for your memberships? And oh yeah, are you still required to walk in the AM? So what he's saying is, I had lots of messages in that email and that request. But the bottom line was, if you allow walking, I might be a member. That's what you tell them. And if you don't allow walking, I got my answer. I'm not coming. Now, I didn't talk about that, but that's not the first time we've seen that kind of message. So, what does it cost us to offer walking to members only on weekdays, Monday through Thursday? I actually don't know, but we're going to find out.
I believe the rule, at least a couple of years ago, was you could walk it, you just had to have a card.
Well, you had to pay for the card, yeah. And actually, that's the way. There are golf courses that you actually have to. The card comes included in the price. There's not a separation, and you don't have to take a card. So that's true, but it makes the value a little bit askew. So that's something that's one component that's not written anywhere in this business plan. And as you might imagine, there's a business plan that starts last year, and you start to write it down, and start to get approval, and you start to think about it. But since October 15th, when we made this proposal, or whatever day it was, there's a lot of thought goes into that. Well, what if? Well, I've been resistant to that. What if it's a good idea? What's it cost us? What does it cost us to investigate that? And there's some other things that will evolve from that plan throughout the rest of this season that are not written in that plan. I can guarantee it. It's just, we need to even think about them to get it in the plan. We also understand that the business plan evolves. It's like a marketing plan. You can get 75%, you know what you're going to do, and the rest of it's reactionary, depending upon the need, and it is reactionary. So a little bit of our business plan is like that too, and so it is for membership. Yeah.
Just want to, real quick, if you're going to allow walking in the AM, is there going to be a trail fee? If I have a hand cart and I want to walk.
Do you want to pay a trail fee?
Of course not.
No.
There you go. No. There used to be a trail fee, that's why I asked.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Well, I play in the PM in the afternoon, and you're allowed walking.
Yes.
So I say nothing wrong with that. Why can't they do that in the AM?
Well, he's saying you can. On Monday and Thursday, you can.
That's the plan. Monday through Thursday. And somebody said, well, why don't you do it Friday, Saturday, or Sunday? I'm not saying we're not going to. I'm saying we're going to go slow with this because it's a reasonable request. And we want to analyze the risk. Remember, revenue is important. But you know, if I lost a little bit of revenue and gained 4 members as that result, I'll bet I have upside. So it is with some of the other things that are part of the. There's even a component of the membership plan that we said we agreed. Nah, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do anything about that. And yet, maybe there is a new idea that might have some credibility. So that's how it evolved.
The only caveat I have is Scott, the guy has to walk as fast as like Mason.
Yeah, and actually, it's sort of the way it went is what about pace of play? That's no question. It's incumbent on us to apply strategies and accountability. If it's a member and he's walking, how tough should that be to have an accountability issue about pace of play? Seriously. I can see an outside person who's going to have a cart, which already is a pace of play issue. But a member, I'd like to be able to take away a fancy something or other, but I can't think of anything to take away right now.
Tom Shopper, 273 Windjammer. I just have one question.
Sure.
When this business plan released on the website,
right.
Who should they be correct? Who should the membership be correct?
Probably Bob.
Actually,
or should they want to have the church do that?
It's their business. It's their business
It's
plan.
their business plan. So you get Bob is the one who is in charge, making sure they do what they do. Basically,
Okay,
so it's not the board. Yeah.
Direct any questions to them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can CC us on the board.
Oh yeah,
we
would like
appreciate
to
that.
know what's going
But
on.
directly to them and then CC the board would be great.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you.
Anybody else out there? Somebody in the back.
Oh, Bob Long, Newport Drive. I read the Ocean Pines magazine with interest. I think just yesterday it came out of the day before, and I looked at the membership rates and everything. And of course, this idea of being able to walk Monday to Thursday was not in there. Do you have some sort of plan of getting that word out to those who are not members so that they can begin to think about rejoining and building a group of walkers here several years ago?
Yeah, we will. This actually just came about probably yesterday, to be honest with you, when we finally figured that out. But yeah, we've got it in some brochures that we got. These are our new membership brochure in conjunction with the Ocean Pines Association. We'll work with Teresa to make sure we get that out to all Ocean Pines members, as well as anything that we do at the club. But we are going to get the word out that yes, that's included in that. And I know that wasn't in that publication, but we'll get it out that it is in fact available. Nelson.
Yeah, article in the Progress, the Gazette, etc. That states if that'll get to more people than just that's one avenue of communication. You one of those reporters to write an article.
We might get into the Progress here too. So
there's this great change in Ocean Pines.
But we'll get the word out.
Right.
Yeah, we'll have a press release. I mean, we'll get it all out there. So, but that's a good question, Bob.
Frank Ruggieri, member about 14 years now. Going back to what Bill was mentioning earlier about Monday play and the outside packages, if we go to the value of being a member, what value does some of these local outside groups bring to Ocean Pines? They don't use the facilities when they're playing. They don't go to the. They disappear. They don't handle bag boys outside. So what value at a discounted rate does Delaware Group or these 5 or 6 other men's groups that aren't outside play? We have no problem with the outside package play, but the local groups that are just floating around force to force to get a deal for their 20 or 30 golfers, whereas if we said no, you might pull in 5 or 6 members out of those.
Maybe.
Like I said, the value that Ocean Pines gets, Turns Grill, the Pro Shop, I think is huge.
Well, not all of them. One, we can't make anyone tip anybody, so they're
But,
not on a
you
tip
know,
wage.
when
Just so you
40
know,
when 40 of them show up at one time, and none of them are taken care of.
Understand? Not all of our members tip our bag staff too, so it's not just outside. Okay, that's one.
I'm not saying
Now,
I'm saying certain groups that come.
They're still outside players. They're still not members. Whatever. Do all of them use the facilities? No, they don't. Some do, some don't. It's probably 50-50. But I can say the same about a lot of our members. A lot of our members come in, play golf, they go jump in their car, and they take off. So that's no different. The value is some of these groups might play 6 or 7 times. Last year was $31,500 was what the value was to the revenue line. That's not all of them, but for one group that I know which group you're specifically referring to, because I hear that too. But it is a value. It is a revenue to our facility. They're getting the word out, and that actually spawned 3 of those people had outside events from different states come in and book different days. And that was added revenue on top of that. So it is good. It is still part of marketing and getting things out there, and they do come back and play at different times, not just with that. They come back visually. They've had a great experience. That we've got a great product, and it helps definitely. Good question, but it's not. They're not all just coming in and rolling out and leaving. So we do get revenue.
My name's Larry Bohannon. I'm 27 Castle Drive, and I have a question as to, I'm not a member of Ocean Pines Golf Club, and I'd like to know what you think that you have that would differentiate you from the other courses that are in the area that I may join for a lesser rate. You have 18 holes of golf,
we do,
which is in great shape. You don't have a dining room. You have a little grill. What do you have? Prices for a family membership here versus a family membership at other places is, well, their membership is equivalent to your single membership.
I think I don't think the courses that are equal in stature to our golf course have the same. You know, you can argue with the Bay Club and some other places as far as business. I guess their business practices, but you know, we've got a great golf course. We have a good membership. While we don't have the highest quality facilities, you know, we don't have a restaurant. You and I talked last week. We don't have a restaurant where you can have a fine dinner with your family. Certainly, I think that if you're coming out for a good golf experience, and that's what it is a golf club, and you know, if you want a fine dinner, you can certainly go to the yacht club down the road. I know it's not just walking in and changing your spikes. We do have that option here in Ocean Pines. So while it might be a mile down the road, but that can help complete that transaction. But I think the service that we can provide, I think the quality of the facility, the golf facility that we have, the camaraderie of the membership, you know, you can see how much they care about things here. They genuinely care. In fact, I have to turn them down when they volunteer to fix things on the golf course for us for liability reasons, but it's great that they want to continue to do that. So I just think that our neighborhood, our community, our membership, I think they're very compelling reasons, and it's a great quality golf course for the price that we have.
You talked about having social functions. Where do you have them?
Sometimes we have them upstairs. Sometimes we have them downstairs. Sometimes we have them outside. It really depends on weather, what the function is. The one we had last week, we had downstairs. We figured it was going to be a small group. Back in November, it kind of expanded out into both rooms downstairs, but we've also had them where they've been upstairs in the past as well. And that's usually bigger functions, some parties like that.
I wanted to add to that too, and because I'm actually pretty excited. As part of purchasing our management, we manage other golf courses. And so we're in the process of bringing some support from another golf course. And these people are very good at envisioning what can be done with very little resources. And creating a really special event for something in an area that's challenging to provide a special event. I'll just put it that way. So I'm thinking about some outdoor activity in the evenings. I'm thinking about some under the patio activity with some heaters. I'm just painting pictures here. But I'm thinking about the club, reintroducing the club to some of the social elements that make a club. Otherwise, it's just discount prepaid golf. And when you say, I'm concerned about the value of my membership, these are the components that are important. It's what happens at the club, not that I have access to a club at a certain price. It's about what's going on there and what don't I want to miss. And by the way, this other person he wants to find out how he can join in that process. That's another reason why we wanted to manage the events and some of the engagement that we can provide to the experience we can provide to a member prospect, or basically somebody that lives in the community, or somebody that doesn't live in the community, another golfer. How to open that up a little bit, because if you guys are having fun, they want to have fun too. If they're having fun when you guys are having fun as members, they want to be a member. It's just natural. So I referred to it, maybe awkwardly, as an element of exclusivity at the club when the members control the membership so much. But if we don't have the ability to have other people involved in that, why would they want to be a member? I mean, how do you get them to be a member without those real experiences? So part of that's a strategy, and I really appreciate that we're able to take a risk in that. But some of these people are going to come down to train up our crew until they can do it themselves. And he's a really good guy. And I think it'll make the difference in the experience of some of the social events in a facility that's challenging to produce great. But it's not Charlie doing fried chicken. Chef Shirley.
I had my hand up just to say to the gentleman, the camaraderie of the people who are members of the golf course is one of the main attractions of this golf. If you put yourself into the situation, you will get more out of it than a fine dining. The fun that we've had in the grill, painting golf balls for the Christmas tree and pond, was exceptional. The man sitting next to you must have painted 40 balls.
I've played here about 20 times in the last 2 years, my wife and I, most of the time. We've never been paired with members of the club, so we've never ever had an opportunity to meet any of the members of the club.
Yes.
Just call me, Larry. I'll take care of it. We'll get it set up.
Very
With
accommodating.
your wife, you anytime.
Before we get away from it, we have two members of our board of directors that are out in the audience that were not part of the plan of the three members that did actually talk to you in that November time frame. And I want to give them an opportunity, if they wish, go and say anything they want to or ask any questions they want to both of you and say anything. That's Dave Stevens and Tom Harris. Do either one of you want to say anything?
Cheryl.
Cheryl Davis. I'm sorry. Well, I didn't see you there, Cheryl. You snuck in. All right, and Cheryl Jacobs. Any one of the three of you like to say anything?
Well, we had the opportunity yesterday to ask quite a question.
Yeah, you did. That's okay. Dave, come on, you want to come up? Or you
I'll
want to be
just
there?
speak here.
Okay.
Yeah, we did. We went over the budget kind of issues, went through the numbers and so forth, and talked about some of the same issues. I guess the question that I have remaining, and I haven't heard it asked yet, when you guys, LU, came for select, the thing that that stuck in my mind, it was a hard decision actually, and it really was. And the thing that stuck in my mind was that you all said Ocean Pines is a community of 12,000 people, plus another, who knows, 10,000 that have properties here, other part of it, 12,000 full-time, and it ought to be able to support a golf course. Well, I've read the business plan. We as a board, by the way, never talked about business. We never had a discussion. But I read it. Three of the members of the board did get to talk to go, and they didn't answer this question. But you said that we should be able to support the golf course drawing from our own, not package play, not anything like that. But basically, you didn't talk about members necessarily, but drawing from our own community stuck in my head. And, now you're still emphasizing membership. Right. on the other hand, I see nothing in this business plan that addresses that or how you any tangible. So I'll be talking again. I have it. It's not appropriate to talk about it now. Would have been another. I also, by the way, sat in the same room as Bill, and I have to say, Bill, I never remotely got the idea that Scott was talking about firing, getting their roasted.
I didn't either. Sorry, Bill.
You didn't say that?
Watch the tape.
Okay, he said me watch the tape, so that's what I should do.
Well, I think what we was talking about was I get fired up.
You said if it happened. I remember you said if, but I thought the if was if Scotty walked away and you had to place him or somebody. I never heard that you said you were going to think about releasing.
I made a claim that a superintendent's value is business mind, not just. It's not about perfect term. It's about a happy thought. Well, that says it's not about. That explains it all. That it's not a term, and that engages the business too. So, no, I never intended to convey that message. I don't.
Cheryl Jacobs, do you want to give your legal opinion back there?
Well, I don't think there's any need for anything to talk about tonight, but what I will say, and I am not a so I just rest the and so when you make a pitch about wanting to place dollars, just want everybody to understand that there's balancing act has because this community services everybody, not just so Clifford have to take that into consideration. Obviously, make this an amenity that we enjoy and we generate revenue, help support it. More members that participate, better off be, but I just for residents have to take that well, make decisions about whether or not we spend that kind of money.
Very good. Okay, anybody else for the good of the order before we close? Yes, sir. Huh?
I just received a phone call. I didn't realize this is streaming live, but I just received a phone call. 2 members in St. Martin's. So we're not all, just us here. Question.
There's no time available.
And that's exactly what I said. But his question, and it comes from Ron Ryder, I think Joe was sure, was in your presentation in November, and I was not there when you were selected amongst the other companies, was that you would grow the membership internally and grow it. And his question specifically was, how are you going to do that? We've seen a loss in membership thus far, and how are you going to increase that this coming year?
We're going to increase the value of membership by. It means allowing walking on Mondays through Thursdays.
Okay.
Now, some of you say okay, and some of you say they won't do it. Well, that's a lot of reason why people left, and this rail fee. Okay, so if that was the reason you left, what was preventing them from coming back? Okay, some of the speech I gave yesterday has to do with not one of these things on their own will say, okay, now I'm going to join. But if you put them all together and have a member experience, it's worth considering. And we ain't there recently.
I guess the question could be further enhanced by asking, what specifically are you going to do? What vehicles are you going to use?
We're going to use Friday evening events over the winter to try, and we haven't done that. See, that's the lagging time between the business plan and the budget and some of these things. We've dabbled in it on the glue guns with 40 golf balls I made, ornaments, and the popcorn. And when I bring somebody from Renditions to come down and educate this staff, because he's so good at doing it, and try to have him envision what could happen in that building, in the interior and exterior, that's an event. That's a memorable event. If it just comes down to price, we ain't ain't gonna do it. It's probably not gonna work. If there's something more than price,
I tried to get him to have open bar when he turned me down.
yeah, I turned it down. So it's a member experience. It's making sure you do have tea times sufficiently, and that even means preferred tea time. Because this is not an issue of not having tea times available. It's not having those tea times available, which is important. It's about making sure the golfer. This is we forget, and we actually talked about this today. So if we can dry out the golf course just a little bit, so we make sure that there aren't tracks over the golf course, and we can get the golf cars off the paths just a little more. I know it sounds like I'm talking from a different universe or something, but you know, if my member can utilize the golf course by renting a golf car and getting off the paths and enjoying golf, I've increased membership value. So not one of these things, that's not why somebody's going to join. But they might join if you go Friday nights, if you go walking in the morning, if you go the guest pass and the ambassador program where you can earn some things. There's some other things. I mentioned the golfer business plan evolving. Well, that's not only that. Yes, but it's everything. And please take a time to look at some of those programs in the that's actually written, and I think you'll see those elements that we're expecting that work at every other facility toward growing membership. None of them are magic bullets. Otherwise, everybody would do it. It's who does it and how you do it, and how it does it well. Getting a plan, committing to a plan, and making sure the plan is done. Yes.
I just a question. I was wondering, could you tell me who would be responsible for charge of the maintenance and the upkeep of the building, of the pro shop, of the hallway, of the bathroom? I've been a member there for 6 years, and the furniture that you see as you walk into our clubhouse is honestly something that people would have put out at the curb to be taken away by the sanitation. And nothing has been done in 6 years. It's the same rattan. Nobody would even sit on it. Never mind. But, and this is like, now I'm a member here, and I'm going to bring family guests, and this is their first impression of my clubhouse as a member. It's really sad. And I can't believe, as a businessman, when you came in to look at the facility, and you said, "Oh, this looks great."
I didn't. I said it looks pathetic.
Because it's very sad. It's an embarrassment. It's a ladies' 9-hole group, and we have tournaments there. It truly is embarrassing. When we go to other clubs, we cringe at the thought that, oh gosh, next year we are going to be responsible for having a tournament and inviting all these women back to us. It's really sad. And after 6 years, not a thing has been changed. Am I right? It's pretty sad.
Well, you do.
But I don't know if it is your thing.
No, it's our responsibility. It's not our responsibility to buy the things. It's our responsibility to recommend things to buy if it's part of a refurbishment or painting or things like that. I think you described a situation where if that rattan furniture were really clean, you'd throw it away.
If we wanted to.
No. I mean, and that's what we're talking about. When John says, "Look, I'm sorry." It needs new cushions. Okay, you know what? That's actually if we're going to keep those rattan furniture on the patio this year, it'd be a good idea to have new cushions, right?
Or power wash.
I have a feeling tomorrow we're going to search price of new cushions. And just so we know what we're talking about, you know that we're going to do that, right, John? You've had some conversations. Okay, because no, actually that's part of the solution. Now we got to make it fit in.
No, I wasn't even speaking of the rattan furniture outside. I was thinking of the furniture that's pushed against the wall, because if you don't push it against the wall, the door opens up. And the furniture, as you're walking in upstairs, there's a bench there that, really? Did somebody consciously go out there and go and buy that? No. Somebody gave it away, and somebody picked it up off of the street and put it there. It had to. No, I mean the inside, as you walk in upstairs. The outside rattan also needs definite upkeep. I know.
I noticed the same things, and yet to make progress doing it isn't a matter of saying that needs to be done. It's a matter of the whole plan. Yeah, I think maybe, but we can get there. There's in our business, we actually there's always a business decision. Do you spend to compel spending, or do you grow to compel spending? And actually, we do it both ways. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes it does take investment to grow, and sometimes you grow and are forced to invest. Expansion of a clubhouse, expansion of a great clubhouse is a reason to be compelled to invest more. Or upkeep. We are responsible for the maintenance of that building. Housekeeping, maintenance of that building. Housekeeping, maintenance. We are definitely responsible. At all levels. Interior, exterior, the whole thing. And I know personally, I'm going to make a claim, it's better than it was. But if it's not good enough, we're going to get it better.
She's not just talking about maintenance. She's talking about redo. Is that your responsibility, or is that the board's responsibility?
The redo?
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say it real short and sweet. There's going to be a time where we're going to be asked to make a recommendation to what a new building looks like, or components of a new building that you need to generate the revenue that we should have. And that time hasn't come yet. When it comes, it's an answer. Because that is what we do. We build a lot of our own clubhouses.
Just quickly on the maintenance issue, and many of us have registered that with John, and he's explained to us on many occasions that it's lack of staff. He's not able to get some of the cleaning done because not enough people do it. And if he's blocked by that, who's in charge of having some more staff to be able to maintain?
I'm going to take the liberty of understanding that the message, and tell me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, and that rarely happens, but if I'm wrong in this occasion, it could be, he might be saying we don't have a dedicated person to take care of that. But I know we have a plan to take care of that, and I know that we're enacting that plan, and I know what that plan is. So, no, we don't have a dedicated person to take care of dusting throughout the clubhouse all the time. That's true. It doesn't mean we don't have a plan. It doesn't mean we don't have people to take care of it. But we don't have the same method to take care of it that was done before. Would you like to add to that?
No, that's all. I mean, we're bathrooms, clubhouse, all that. It'll be a lot cleaner. We're working on different things. Like I said, there were not just a ring around the toilet or something, but like I said, we go in there and scrub the bathroom walls or the floors. It just looked the same and looked dirty. And we're getting through all that. Fortunately, with Public Works help, they've been great getting in there and taking care of those things. So this year will be a whole lot better. I think you'll see a difference, at least as you can with an old building. So we're going to do the best we can, and it's going to be as clean as we can get it.
Yes, sir.
Two, on marketing one and membership for new members experience. On the marketing side, was maybe overwhelmed when it was first came in because intention was a lot of folks reach out. And unfortunately, I had quite a few old members say, look, kind of expect maybe get that letter. Kind of excited. New company saying it. Because at last, we haven't had anyone talking about trying to pick a membership club. So they were a little disappointed if they received something. Hey, look, I'd like you to come back. I think he's even said it. That you'd like to try to reach out. Anyway, they went through the whole season, and I would continue to get asked. Honestly, it's just nothing like that has happened. So I don't know if maybe it was too overwhelming as far as getting the force, and maybe because of the financial numbers. But anyway, a lot of guys are on the, some old members are on the fence, saying, look, anyways, I almost would like to come back. They didn't receive anything. Now, maybe if you roll out something new, now then maybe they see it. But the thought was maybe when the person opened up the new management, it would have happened then. When they were excited.
A new management with the same value gets nowhere. And I don't want to make it so blunt that it's obnoxious, but we got to figure out what we need to do differently, lay a good plan to do it, bring some other people along to get behind us to do it, and then do it. And that's where we
So
are.
you weren't ready yet.
We're-
Ready to,
No.
police try to send letters out. Police try to do something.
What are some of the things
Well,
you
each,
hear?
I mean, each, well, you know what? I couldn't have printed that a year ago. There was no walking on Mondays and Thursdays. But you don't involve with that in the first month of operation. But we ask a lot of people. We did a lot of research. We look a lot of focus and a lot of surveys and a lot of emails, and no, it takes time to do that. And actually, this isn't the only club we take that same tack. It's a matter of let's get it ready to promote, and let's promote what we have as the best opportunity.
Another question would be, and maybe it also make we will understand as far as our clubhouse goes. It's not. We make the best out of it, so that you know. Win the grill. There is a whole different bunch of groups that play all week long. If you happen to get in one of the particular groups, then you always have a set amount. Several times a week. You have to deal with the busting. You win the grill. Deal with it. You didn't play well. You're going to get busted. Well, and then you're going to buy the beer. But all that happens at our membership, and that really is the plus part. Grill, unfortunately, though, was so tight and small. Made a small suggestion last year, just one glass panel. Try to put a little bit of concrete slab out there, just maybe put 5 or 6 tables just to get outside a little bit. One, it would expose the grill. It would expose the grill to everyone coming out of 18 when they make the turn 9, and it's because of the activity out there. Plus, it would allow us on some of those given days, we're having our own little groups, and our members are there spread out there, tend to make it a little more festive. Now, we understood that we couldn't do it. We actually suggested quite a few of our guys that have construction background. We would have done all the construction, nothing. We just looked at the Ocean Pines to cover the cost. We did understand it came back to us as a liability issue. But all I would ask is that we know that clubhouse problem way down the road. Is there a possibility that there's a small amount of money? And I don't know what you consider default. In this particular case, maybe only we're asking for around $1,000 to fill this out, because labor was going to be no cost. Maybe it's $10,000. The Ocean Pines for stuff. But anyway, all I'm asking is there any chance we can have small little improvements done like that to improve our membership feeling or that enticement to top and answer like the gentleman what to get out of it. So I'd actually direct someone's support just so you hear it. Just little things.
Well, you have to realize too that Dave's been through it. I, Cheryl, and Bill, we've been through exhaustive 6 days of budget hearings, full days in a freezing cold.
Where was that?
Yeah, right. It was so cold we wore our coats all the time. That's how silly it was. But anyway, the point is that every amenity and everything wants more money. Nobody wants less. And it's our duty, it's our responsibility to try to do the best we can with what we have. And that's the number of dues we have. You know, we spent, last year was $921. This year it may go up, that's true. But we're still struggling with that. We're trying to make sure that is that the end number, or can we reduce it some or not, or whatever we can. But whenever we do, we have to take something away. So the point is, what we're trying to do is when somebody wants $3,000 or $4,000, that's reasonable. I'm not saying it isn't. But the point is that everybody else wants $3,000 or $4,000, and that's where it becomes a problem.
Yeah. All I want to look at is golf course actually income, revenue, finance. We're asking for something that actually a little bit of improvement. One, we get a lot more of the outside play. We have a chance for the outside play to be able to see the grill and actually stay after the best. The thought would be is that, like in any business, and I was in business for 32 years, you're spending a certain amount, we're actually doing it for the purpose of creating revenue. So I don't necessarily mean.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that might work. I don't know.
But more revenue to come.
Again, it's a matter of right now, golf is in the hole, big time.
We have a problem that you actually right up to the glass. That's where the grill is. You can't tell it's open. Now, we have the members know to go in, but outside we don't get a chance to entice anyone else. And then, because they don't even know it's there.
I'll point out that in their business plan, earlier, you mentioned, Scott, removing some of those ugly trees from the front of the pond or between the Turns Grill and the pond, so there'd be a better view and everything like that. Well, what I didn't see is how you're going to get better view from the Turns Grill out to those screens and all the stuff there. And I think that's what Turns
That's at that point, we can't take advantage of what a beautiful site. It's incredible. We have
that was something I wanted to mention.
And actually, Dave, if I may, Dave is a point. There is a. You might not like it. There might be a reluctance for us to accept a project that's not part of a bigger plan. $3,000. You spend the $3,000, you don't get. And I don't mean that you get to spend $1 million. I mean, there might be a better value of that $3,000. Then you add the liability product to it. So I wasn't terribly discouraged that we weren't allowed to do it. I thought, well, we'll do it. I like it better as a part of a bigger plan. But I understand.
I'm only just bringing it out to say, God, never new club, which be so long. Then the thought would be if a small amount, something like that, we could improve the enhancement that we talked about, like this possible don't here. Why do we want to join?
Okay. That's a point well taken. Yes, sir.
And I'm glad some of the things were brought up because I didn't want to point out negatives to you guys. Yeah, you guys know what your situation is here. But from a standpoint of a person that's looking to join a club, if you had a function where you had 100 golf members playing in a function, and you wanted to have a meal incorporated with, you don't have a place to do it.
Well, we'll figure out how to do it though. Is right. The question is, it becomes a little tenuous. That's what we've got to fix. We've got to be able to do.
But you're trying to sell.
What we do, we can do it upstairs.
Concept to somebody as opposed to selling something that's there.
It's what we're dealing with. I
understand it, but that's what I'm saying.
So we're trying to realizing what we have and the objections to those things. What can we innovate to enhance member value? And that's why the people from renditions and taking it to the outdoors, and removing the trees and create some circulation, and maybe it's bocce ball, or maybe it's lawn tennis, or things that it could be cornhole on the patio. I'm not too old. And it's the kind of things that I know when I go a place, I enjoy it. Those are the things I enjoy. I'm thinking my grandkids enjoy it with me, and maybe your grandkids would enjoy it with you. There's no place to do it in the community. It's part of the club. Is it an ultimate solution? No, but it's something added to the membership value. We've got to change what is a membership and do the best we can until there's a remodeled clubhouse, a repainted clubhouse, or a clubhouse solution. It's what puts maybe a little undue pressure on the cart decision. It's a lot of money, but let's not get the seats and the clubhouse and those things so disheveled that we're working against ourselves. It's just a component to the golf cart decision. It's not. It doesn't make the decision.
No, thank you. Cheers.
Is there a kitchen upstairs?
There's a wonderful kitchen upstairs.
We have used it.
Yes. They use. Well, what has happened that the club has gone away from utilizing that as a primary dining?
Its comfort systems are.
It was a call sign.
Inadequate. The kitchen equipment is defunct.
And you said the kitchen equipment was great.
Well, the kitchen is great when it was new. The kitchen is dilapidated and not capable to perform. It's capable to warm and hold. But as far as my understanding, it is not a production kitchen anymore, and the capability of having significant production.
The vents have been dug by the Cove Restaurant. They'll bring the food over. We've had the vents over there with the Cove Restaurant and catering it, basically. Yeah, we had years ago, and I wasn't here at that time, but years ago they had to make a decision whether they're going to keep one over the other.
and which was more popular, which was doing well. The Cove Restaurant was doing better. So they put their money there, and that's basic. We couldn't keep two kitchens going. It cost.
Well, I actually did contact.
Well, Dave's been here a lot longer than I have. He's been here forever. No.
We did. You mentioned Charlie's Chicken. Wow. I don't know. We had some very popular Friday night things to the point where other people, non-golfers. What?
I heard Charles.
I don't know what happened to Charles.
They cook that downstairs.
They did cook it downstairs, but they also used the kitchen upstairs.
Yeah, but they've been talking about fixing that kitchen up, okay? So it could take care of people after golf, et cetera, you know, downstairs.
Yeah.
But they haven't never done anything. They always had to do something else.
Well, once you get into larger priced items, you get to the point where you say, hey, how much can we add without?
And if it were just the kitchen or just the HVAC, there might be a solution, but it's.
I come from a background of restaurants and golf club, okay? And there are ways to get around. You don't have to go out and buy brand new equipment from an equipment store. You don't have to do it that way. Many restaurants go out of business all the time, and restaurant companies take their equipment back and then sell it for about 25% of its original value. So it doesn't have to be a big ticket item to do. And everything in the kitchen may not be bad. Maybe just major items, you know? I don't know.
Everything is bad, right?
So, I mean, to go to the extreme of the yacht club, I mean, that's, you don't need to go anywhere near that. But, you know, if you had these outings that come in there, I mean, you could incorporate a meal with them, and you get more revenue from them from the few groups that you do have. So.
But, you know, there are other issues, too, besides the kitchen's just a small part of it. I mean, I've sat in a golf council meeting with I think he was playing an hour. And heard several of them in front of me saying, we don't want it upstairs. That place smells. I mean, and there was general agreement. And so, do we have it upstairs? No, we had it at Lighthouse South. I mean, you know, there's a lot to do. I mean, you can do a little and make it better. I mean, I don't think you should, by the way. But
well, if it has odors, get rid of the odors.
Yeah, well, would you say it's had odors for quite a while?
Everything has odors.
Never heard that probably there.
My wife.
It all down.
Yeah, and actually, I tried to inject this concept that in spite of not having those capabilities, that we can figure out how to provide those experiences.
Yeah.
We do it over Flatstone or outside grilling or what? I mean, the chef that I'm talking about is competed in the Mason-Dixon Master Chef competition. You know, they didn't have. I never saw equipment like that. It was in the lobby of a hotel. Well, they didn't need big kitchen now. They weren't producing for 100 people either, but they produced gourmet, top quality stuff. I was impressed. Spent a lot of money too, but it can be done. Well, we can't even envision right now. Our staff out of that clubhouse cannot envision how to do anything but one. Trying to change that. I'm trying to say, if I bring somebody else down there, what can they envision that they could make happen here, and can we have that guy teach this guy, and have that experience, so we say, oh, we can do this, and we don't even need anything else to do. It's a lot easier with the clubhouse, and a lot easier with bigger kitchen, a lot easier with all those other things. But when somebody says, what are you doing to increase membership value? I just explain it. We're going to try to make something, a good experience, a better experience, even though that's the clubhouse we have. I don't know how else to say it.
Scott, I know you have to get on the road. You're heading back to
right?
Heading back to Pasadena.
He's heading back to Pasadena,
Maryland.
so we're gonna have to let him go.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you very much.
And thank you all.
Hi, I'm
Sorry about that. Think about those.
Schneider. Hi, I am Grandma. Let's try to